Hi, everyone. Welcome to Raw Reverent Sunday. Thank you for joining me today. We're just going to start by dropping into the space together. So, if we want to just take a moment to let our eyes fall closed and connect to the breath, just feeling the natural breath falling in and falling out, pouring in, pouring out. Just feeling the body here in this moment. Taking a moment to land here together and letting our bodies arrive before our minds begin to try to understand anything, just giving ourselves a moment, a little pause to be in the present moment and feel what's arising right now and breathing. And then feeling how spring is really approaching us. Lots of flowers are starting to bloom in certain areas of the world. And there's a more true energy or essence of the new year present. And there is a lot of energy moving through the field right now. And instead of trying to analyze it or fix it or make it mean something, today we're going to sit with how to hold it, how to tend it, and how to direct it. And so just placing one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly, maybe feeling the body settling and relaxing, feeling the shoulders drop, the jaw relax, the brow relax, settling down. Taking a 4 count inhale through the nose, holding briefly at the top, and then a 6 count exhale through the mouth. Just allowing these longer exhales to settle and calm the body and relax the vagus nerve. Doing a few of those. And keeping your eyes closed, we're just going to softly move the body for a bit. Can start by slowly rolling your neck. Big circles, allowing your ear to come to the shoulder, letting your head roll back and your ear find the other shoulder, rolling forward and breathing intentionally and slowly, continuing to roll your neck. I heard a Buddhist teacher say one time that you could breathe your breaths as if they are a gift, as if you have a finite number of breaths in this life. And the longer and slower they are, the more intentional and deep they are, the more deeply rooted you find yourself in the present moment and in this life, the longer and more full your life is. The fuller the breath, the fuller the life. And you can begin to rotate your neck in the other direction. Really making sure the shoulders are dropped and relaxed. And coming back to center, allowing your spine to move like a wave. So allowing your body to sway side to side with your head following the rest of your body. Just allowing a little wave to move through your spine. A little mobility and flexibility and squeezing those ecstatic juices and fluids that flow up and down the spine, your cerebrospinal fluid. And maybe you can begin to w- make some circles with your hips. Can continue to wave your spine while making circles, so a little vortex of your own body, and then you can allow your movement to shift into any organic expression that feels best for you. Allowing your spine to move, allowing your body to rotate at the hips, at the base. Just some natural organic movement, opening things up, feeling what feels good. Maybe there's a like stretch that feels good that you want to do. You can incorporate that while you're moving. Just opening it up, opening your shoulders, opening your chest, opening your heart, and then maybe rounding your back and bringing your shoulders forward with an exhale. And then maybe inhaling, opening your shoulders, bringing your chest and your heart forward, and rounding your shoulders forward with an exhale. And as you move, just notice, where do you feel energy in your body right now? What do you feel? Is there any pressure, tightness, emotion, opening, flowing? And then slowly coming to a point of stillness, allowing the movement to gently and naturally settle to a point, a moment of stillness. And we find ourselves here, breathing together, inhabiting these beautiful bodies, this brilliant biological technology, electromagnetic light body, physical, emotional, spiritual, trinity, super processor, feeler, and lover of life. And gratitude for these bodies and the brilliance of our souls and that essence which is received and contained within our very brilliant cells and emanated out in the biophotonic light that our cells produce. We do produce light. That is a scientific fact. We are light beings. Mm. And so you're welcome to remain with your eyes closed, or if you want to open your eyes, either is fine. I'm just going to discuss some things that feel present in the moment. And yes, a lot of people right now are feeling a lot, feeling more. When we talk to our friends, you might notice it just seems like there are some big things happening in a lot of people's lives right now and in the world. Some big events happening. Lately, it seems like it's kind of always like happening. um, but it does feel right now that there's more emotion, more thoughts, more sensitivity, more activation, sometimes more inspiration, sometimes more irritation. And sometimes this can bring us into a space of analysis or trying to understand what's happening or if something has gone wrong. And I just wanted to acknowledge that this is simply what happens when more life force energy is flowing through the system, right? Like a river, you know, if you've got a slow moving trickle of a river and rains come and lots of energy is brought down through that river and it starts to flow, all the things that were growing on the banks or just like tucked in those corners there, the river is going to dislodge them and move them and set them free. And so this is what happens in us on all levels, physical, spiritual, emotional levels, as it's happening in the collective and things are moving as we're all one field of energy. We're all reflecting each other. And of course, as we cleanse and detoxify our physical vessels, as we detoxify our lives and allow our emotions to flow, allow our physical waters to open up and flow and release. It's just like that analogy of the river. And so mm, perhaps there's like, something that was like lodged in the bank of the river that we just weren't even aware of. And the river comes through and just dislodges it. And it's floating down the river. And like we don't even remember how it got there. And we could spend quite a lot of time. We could grab the thing, inspect its details, go around to the whole community and ask, does anybody remember how this ended up in the river? And everyone's like, no, we don't remember. And spending a lot of time with it to understand it. But sometimes it's good to understand these things whenever it's like naturally and readily arising. But sometimes too, um, it's okay not to understand that thing that's floating down the river, to observe it as it passes through, to recognize that it's not who we are, simply a feeling or a thought or an emotion. It's floating down the river, and it's okay if we don't remember how it got there or why it's there. It certainly is not a reflection of the magnificence or purity or perfection of the river and its flow and everything that's found its way to the river and everything that the river is ready to release and all the ways that the river will shift and transform across eternity. And so, yes, lots more things arising in the collective field and in the individual, and just having grace for ourselves and each other, and recognizing that this is simply what happens when more life force is moving through the system. Things get dislodged, things get remembered, things get felt, and that is the path to freedom and liberation and open flow. Energy itself is neutral, and so what matters most is what we do with it. Oftentimes, whenever this profound energy arises because of what we've been taught in society, the ways that we've been taught to attach to and judge and identify with the things that arise, um, the common response is to do one of three things: to scatter it, to suppress it, or to discharge it unconsciously. And there are many, many tools of scattering or suppressing or discharging out there in modern society that we've had access to since we were children. And so it seems to be something that comes natural. Um, but there is a fourth path that we can choose if we wish, because remembering that everything is truly neutral, energy is truly neutral, and what we choose to do with it in the end is neutral. It's an expression, and no shame in the moments that we need some reprieve and we choose comfort, because this is a journey. This is a journey of unfurling and strengthening our nervous systems so that we can handle more. There's a lot to process, not just this life, but often most of us, our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents, and like, lifetimes of sorts of distortion. And so taking it easy with ourselves and recognizing that um, it's going to go at the pace that it goes, and your human body, your human technology is incredibly intelligent, and you can trust yourself. There's no formula, truly, um, to opening and unfurling in this way. Um, but the skin of the snake does shed when it's ready. And I think many of us can feel that that's just what's happening. That's just what's happening in the collective. It's what's happening in a lot of us as individuals, as microcosms of that macrocosmic process. Um, and so while we have been taught by modern society to scatter, suppress, or discharge unconsciously when challenging feelings arise or something floats down the river that we don't quite understand, there's a fourth path. There's always the invitation for a fourth path, which is to contain, circulate, and devote or direct that energy. And so that, is cultivated through our very personal internal process of cultivating care and love for oneself, containing the energy through creating a container that is safe and nourishing for oneself. We discuss this quite often, but it is such an act of devotion and love for this world to learn to care for yourself, to learn to fill your own cup so that you can go the long run and so that you can show up every day and pour into the ones that you love and pour into those that the universe presents to you as friends that you can be of service to and that can perhaps be of service to you in return, and giving is receiving and receiving is giving, and so I cannot emphasize enough the importance of giving to and nourishing and nurturing yourself. And as you do that, you become a stronger and stronger container for the containing, circulating, and devoting and directing of this potent energy that we are all feeling. And so, again, I mentioned the feeling of spring really, really landing now, the feeling of the new year really, really landing in this present moment. And, we just entered the year of the fire horse. We just emerged from the year of the snake. So lots of shedding and releasing. And now stepping into and approaching the energy of the fire horse. The courage to be seen in your full expression as we enter this year. The horse is visible, strong, unapologetic in its presence. I have always really, really related to horses. When I was a teenager, I spent a lot of time on the computer looking up photos of horses and showing my parents pictures of horses and wanting horses, so much that they got me a horse. We weren't a horse family, but I ended up getting a pregnant horse, having a horse who had a baby, had two horses. And I really, really have so much gratitude and love and trust and respect for the energy of the horse, the archetype of the horse. Such a powerful and sensitive creature. You know, if you've ever ridden a horse and people have told you, like, the horse can feel you, it really can. And it reflects you really, really well. And you can learn through through interaction with a relationship with these animals about standing in your power and being sensitive and being aware and responding to what's present in the moment. They are far from oblivious, but they're kind and they're trusting and they love to give and receive love. They know how to set boundaries. They're fast and strong. So that energy, you know, that we're entering into, stepping into in this year, coming out of a year of the snake, being so close, belly all the way on the mother. The snake travels this way, so close to the mother. And when the snake sheds its skin, it's blind for a moment. As the skin is shedding and coming over its eyes, it can't see. And there's just this time of deep, deep trust and surrender and natural fear that arises in that shedding. And then stepping into next the energy of the horse. Visible, strong, unapologetic in its presence, sensitive, properly boundaried, but loving. In the fire, the illumination. So spring is responding to the layers that have been removed, together the energy of the horse, the energy of the fire, the energy of the spring begin to usher us into a year where hiding becomes more uncomfortable for us than being seen. And this is a time for a powerful step into deeper authenticity and creative expression, and letting the true self be witnessed, whether that's in our relationships, our art, our business, our healing work. Your soul came here to sing your song. And in the end, it is not, never was, never will be about how you are perceived. So, breathing in that permission and that freedom, that power. I used to really love to listen to Bright Eyes when I was an angsty teenager. And there's a line from a song that he would sing. And he was singing about the feedback that he was getting from his fans and not fans. And he says, I do not read the reviews. I am not singing for you. And in a way we are. We're singing and we're dancing for each other. We're sharing our gifts and our offerings and our soul for each other, but it's not with the goal of being accepted or approved of. It is because the river is flowing and it wants to flow. The art is pouring in, the inspiration is pouring in, and it wants to express itself. Energy is neutral. It simply just wants to express itself. And if someone perceives it as beautiful, if someone perceives it as ugly, if someone perceives it as inspirational or cringy, all of that is exactly perfect, exactly meeting them in their own level of soul expression, meeting them in their own level of freedom or their own level of being bound, and having a sacred soul exchange from that space. And so just trusting that your freedom is a gift to this world, no matter how it's interacted with, no matter how it's perceived. It is a gift. It's a gift when it inspires people. It's a gift when it triggers people. And you are totally free to just express your truth, to be in your truth, and let the Great Spirit handle the details. And as spring continues to swell, the nervous system begins to recalibrate with more light. As the days get longer, the body naturally wants to shift out of the mode of winter conservation. And if the nervous system is dysregulated by modern living, sometimes this energy of spring, coupled with this really potent fire horse energy, can feel like too much, perhaps, if the body is not grounded. So it's important to balance the elements, the fire with the earth, receiving the sunlight with bare feet on the ground, movement and activation with stillness. expression with integration, balance, balance, balance. And so just taking a moment to close your eyes if they're not closed, and inhale deeply into your lower belly, feeling the breath drop down into the pelvis. And exhale and gently feel that energy move up the spine into the heart. Inhale into your lower belly, feeling the breath drop down into the pelvis. Exhale. Gently feel that energy move up the spine into the heart. Inhale into your lower belly. Feel the breath drop down into the pelvis. Exhale. Gently feel that energy move up the spine into the heart. Continue with this breath, connecting to the teacher of the breath, the balance of giving and receiving, of breathing and being breathed, of being inspired, allowing that to pour through and therefore inspiring. Through a simple practice like this, you can cultivate more and more directly how you wish to utilize your life force energy. Now bring awareness to something in your life that you care about, your healing, your body, your art, your relationships, your offering. And instead of energy running in every direction, feel it gathering and pooling and gently flowing and being directed toward that space. Choosing where your life force goes. One more deep breath in, expanding into the pelvis. And exhaling, pulling the energy up your spine into your heart. Deep breath in, filling all the way up. Inside out. We're going to move right into the journal prompts. So when you're ready, you can slowly begin to move your body organically, flutter your eyes open. We'll just sit with these questions for a bit. Where am I scattering or leaking my energy? What am I ready to devote my energy to with more intention? What would it look like to tend my flame this week? So I'll drop these questions in the chat and I'll put on a little bit of music and give y'all some space with that. All right. Thank y'all so much. I just wanted to give some practical um, anchors or grounding practices that we can use, at any point that it's needed. It doesn't have to be complicated, just space for stabilizing the energy and the physical through the portal of the body. So, of course, always some organic movement like we did earlier, dropping in, listening to some music, moving organically, um, sunlight on the body every day, mineral rich hydration. We need minerals, amino acids. We need to make sure that the nervous system is well supported in that way because this is how we're processing this energy. So we need strong cells, we need strong nervous systems, we need strong minerals for the conduction of this energy. Simple, clean, living foods. So hydrating foods, raw fruits and vegetables, slow mornings, less stimulation in the morning, taking that space and giving yourself that breath to wake up and to settle into your day. Um, Barefoot time on the earth, castor oil packs over the liver or low belly, breath work when feeling overwhelmed. It's really good and supportive and helpful to do that shorter inhale with the a bit longer exhale, and choosing a clear focus of the day. So just connecting to one clear focus of the day in the morning and directing your energy there, recognizing that we all have our part to play. And as an individual, we're not meant to do everything. We're meant to do what is ours with precision and devotion. And so, one more time, just dropping into the body, perhaps putting a hand on the heart and a hand on the belly, feeling the breath, feeling the body, feeling the life force, acknowledging that we are here to tend, hold, and give direction to energy. We're not here to chase it. And the more stable our system becomes, the more life can move through us more clearly, more freely, with more ease. This is a relationship, it's a dance, learning to contain, understand how to direct our energy. So, thank you so much for showing up for yourself and for this collective field. Much love.